Good evening, welcome to You Know the Score. It's your host Shingy. And this past week, only around just over 48 hours ago, Mauricio Pochettino was sacked by Tottenham Hotspurs after his 5 years at the club. And this was at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, where the news broke out. Sky Sports broke the news. And then only, less than 12 hours later, they went ahead and appointed Jose Mourinho as his replacement. Now, it's shocking that this has happened in such a short space of time, which does suggest that there was a deal in principle before, obviously, the announcement of Mauricio Pochettino's sacking. I was pretty shocked at the fact that they decided to pull the plug on his 5 years at the club, because he's done an excellent job since he's been there. And he's taken Spurs to, I won't say elite heights, but he's taken them to the next step where they needed to be in the 5 years since he's been there. Before they got there, before he joined those years ago, Spurs were kind of flirting around the top four places, weren't able to secure Champions League football, and then they managed to start doing so on a regular basis. Pochettino, he boasts a good record. Now that he's left Spurs, he played 273 games, 159 of those games, drawn 62 and lost 72, and that's an impressive win ratio of 54.3%. So, I guess Pochettino can leave the club with his head held high. It's a shame that it actually had to come to an end like this, and I was pretty surprised. But he didn't win any trophies, which I guess some critics will say that wasn't good enough. With the cycle of players that he had, they came close on a few occasions, losing in the semi-finals of the FA Cup to Chelsea and my club, Man United. They came close to winning the Champions League last season, got to the final, didn't quite get over the line. They ran Leicester close, and then they, in the league, and they ran out of gas. So could you say it was possibly time for change? 6.5 dozen. I felt that, it was a bit of a harsh sacking. I felt that, they probably could have given Pochettino until the end of the season for him to make a decision and for him to try and get things right, because they've been in stuttering form. Their Champions League form last season kind of like masked over their domestic form, because the last time they had won away from home in the Premier League was, I think, in January of this year, which was against Fulham, who invariably got relegated at the end of the season. It was a 2-1 win at Craven Cottage, and ever since then they were on a dwindling run away from home. And that kind of spiraled into this season. They was unable to win games away from home. They were struggling at home. There was rumours about players looking to run down their contracts. Eriksen hasn't signed a new deal. Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Danny Rose came out in recent weeks and said that he's looking to run down his deal. So it may have been the right time for him to leave, because Tottenham may needed to freshen things up. But I'm gonna get my good friend Bolaji on the line to discuss this sacking. And see what he has to make of it. Listen, let me just try and get him on the line. Just bear with me for a second and we'll get him on. Because I'm interested to see what he has to say about it, him being a Manchester United fan and all.
Yo.
Bolaji.
Yo, what's up, man?
How's it going? You're on You Know the Score, live and direct.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, we got there in the end. We had a few technical difficulties, but I just thought that we'd gather your thoughts on the sacking of Mauricio Pochettino and them hiring our former gaffer Jose Mourinho. What did you make of the news?
So I think a bit of a shock, really, in terms of sacking Pochettino. I thought, they'd probably keep it till December. I see why they've done it, and I see why they've hired Mourinho. Really, Mourinho is an upgrade on Pochettino. Mourinho's going to come into the club install that winning mentality, and hopefully grab them a few trophies, whether it be the EFL, FA. I don't see them winning the league. I don't see them winning the Champions League, but definitely one of those low-level trophies now. Tottenham they hadn't had a manager of that ilk before, and appointing Mourinho would definitely change the mentality around there.
Do you think that Pochettino, he took Spurs as far as he could?
He done a good job. He done a really, really good job. He done a good job. But I mean, looking back at it, looking in hindsight, I don't think he was 110% backed by Levy with money to build the squad that he wanted. He was building off scraps, and he done an amazing job there. So I think wherever Pochettino goes, whether it's Bayern, Man United, Barca, Real Madrid, and he has that cash, he's gonna do a really, really good job. It's just a bit confusing because Levy is known not to spend. He's a shrewd negotiator. So for Mourinho to go to Tottenham, Levy must loosen the purse strings in order to make him successful, or it's going to fail.
Yeah, because how is this going to work? Because historically, obviously, Jose is a man who likes to spend money. I mean, he spent a lot of money when he was manager of Manchester United, which we've had various debates on. And Levy, Daniel Levy, is a guy that doesn't like to spend money. He likes to make money. He sells his best players from time to time, and gets good value for them. How do you think this relationship between Jose and Daniel Levy is going to work?
Well, I don't think Jose would have taken the job without having the reassurances that money's going to be spent. With, not so much in January, but definitely in the summer. I mean, Jose is not a stupid guy, and he's going to risk his reputation with going to a club. So I think a club like that, without money being there. So I do think Levy, has given him those reassurances. So I think money will be spent. I could be wrong, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Really, he's come out today and said he doesn't need the money to sign any players. I don't believe that. I think he definitely needs to upgrade that squad. I think Tottenham, where they want to be, they want to be a club which are challenging for honours the Premier League, Champions League, and I think with that squad that they have there, a few additions in key areas definitely are needed. If you want the best players, you're gonna have to spend mega bucks.
Now, you say that obviously Jose Mourinho wouldn't have gone there if he had the reassurances. I mean, it's come to light that earlier today that Jose Mourinho is not gonna be in charge of the transfers supposedly. Recently, Pochettino, he recently complained about his job title and said that he had no dealings with transfers. He should change his title to being a head coach because he hasn't been able to get the players he wants. He's not in control. How will Mourinho adapt to that?
It's weird. It's weird because Mourinho is not that type of manager. He wants his fingers in all the pies, whether it be transfers, training, etc. So that confuses me a lot. For Mourinho to come into Tottenham and just be a head coach, just deal with the players, I can't see that happening. I think he will try and meddle in transfer activities and various other operations within the club. So it's a real weird one, unless, as I said before, Levy's just giving him those reassurances that the players that you want, identify them, I'll get them for you, and all I need in return is trophies, because I think that's what the club are looking for at the minute, just trophies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the Premier League, not the Champions League. Get us an FA Cup, get us an EFL Cup, get us on the map. And Mourinho's a blockbuster signing for Tottenham. I think.
Does his appointment worry you?
Does the appointment worry me? I think if it goes well for Tottenham, 100%, they're going to be up there. They're going to be, potentially challenging for others. And I feel, as a Man United fan, I just feel us, we're going to slip through the net, and we're not going to be as good as Tottenham. I'll be really honest with you. I think for the past 5-6 seasons, Tottenham have been a better club. better than Arsenal, better than Man United, but they've got a really good manager. I think Mourinho's a solid manager if you give him what you want.
Now,
And if Levy gives him what he wants, hey, we're in trouble.
Now, speaking of Manchester United, I mean, obviously before we appointed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we was heavily linked with Pochettino. It looked like we was going to appoint him until obviously Solskjaer had his good run, and up until the PSG game, and then obviously Woodward decided to go and appoint him as the permanent manager. Now, people on social media, Manchester United fans in particular, have been saying, they should pull the plug on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Manchester United, and Man United shouldn't overlook the opportunity to go and get Pochettino. What do you make of that?
I'm one of those guys that Woodward should. He's been very ruthless in the past with Moyes, Mourinho, Van Gaal. He needs to do it now or never. Personally, I think the ship has sailed. Pochettino's being linked with, the Bayern Munich post, and that seems like a great opportunity for him. Would you manage Man United or would you manage Bayern Munich? If Woodward doesn't get rid of Solskjaer now, forget it. We're just going to have to stick with him up until the end of the season, and potentially, get somebody else if he doesn't do as well. So I think that talk is very premature, because I don't feel Woodward has the balls at the minute to get rid of Solskjaer. But if it was me, I'd pull the plug. I would have pulled it a couple of games ago, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I feel Solskjaer is not the right manager for Man United. I think I said to you personally earlier, does he have the history of developing the players and taking them to the next level? He doesn't. He's managed Mulder and he's managed Cardiff. And yeah, he's done great and fantastic things at Mulder, but the comparison, of players at Mulder and the comparison to players at Man United are, totally different.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, go ahead.
I mean, what he's done at Cardiff, so it's a weird one. It's not going to happen. So, Pochettino to Man United is I think we're flogging a dead horse.
It's a dead rubber, you believe?
100%.
And now, 100%. Mourinho's come out and said, that he has so much respect for Manchester United as a club. He received about 50 messages from members of staff from Manchester United. It's funny that obviously, I think December 4th, Spurs come to Old Trafford. And obviously that should be fireworks on that night, to be honest. Do you think, Jose will go to Old Trafford with a point to prove to the Manchester United faithful?
100%. You know what Jose is like. He's going to come to Old Trafford and try to beat us and try to embarrass us. He's done it in the past. I think embarrass is probably a strong word, but he's going to come with a point to prove and try to beat the team that he left. I think it's just a bit of showmanship with the whole 50 messages from Man United, and it's a great club, because we know what he had to say about us, and when he left in the media and he wasn't backed by Woodward and the board, blah 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 blah. I think he's just playing to the cameras, which Jose is really good at. I don't think he cares about Man United. I think December the 4th is when the game is right. We'll have to see where Man United are at, to be honest with you. I'm not too confident. I think, a 7th now will probably be in a worse position. And it's for Jose to probably, call Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time at Man United. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. But December the 4th, let's see what happens. But I'm not confident at all going forward.
Now, last word on Mauricio Pochettino. Would you say his time at Spurs was a success? I mean, I know a lot of fans, especially Arsenal fans, will say, well, he didn't win a trophy though, but
but he revolutionised the club. He made some solid changes in terms of the mentality, in terms of taking Tottenham, who were, I wouldn't say languishing in mid-table, but they weren't a threat to the likes of Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, all those other clubs, and he's taken them from, you know, a 7th place club, 8th place club, wherever they was, to finishing 2nd, 3rd, 4th, you know, qualifying for the latter stages of the Champions League and really being a threat. I think, you know, many seasons ago, I'd see Man United or Tottenham, or see Arsenal or Tottenham, and think, Tottenham, I mean, they can do a job, but they won't win. To now thinking, Tottenham, they're a solid club. I think it's going to be a really tough game. We'll do well to get a win out of that, or we'll do well to get a draw out of that. But, you know, Pochettino done a great job, but, you know, in hindsight, as I said before, did Levy really back him? I don't know. I don't think he did. I think if Levy did and gave him, you know, the £200 million budget that Man United and Chelsea and Man City had, it would definitely be a different story.
Absolutely. Well, Bolaji, thanks for joining me this evening. Insightful thoughts.
No worries, man. It's a pleasure.
Cheers. You take care.
Take care, mate. You too, mate. Take care.
Appreciate that.
Easy.
Well, there you have it. Those were Bolaji's thoughts on the sacking of Pochettino by Spurs and Jose Mourinho replacing Pochettino at Spurs. And obviously the possibility of Manchester United looking to appoint Pochettino. I mean, some Manchester United fans have been saying that, you know, Pochettino is not worthy because he doesn't understand the traditions and the values and the culture of Manchester United. But what I say to that is I wanted to give Oli time. I think he deserves the time. But I cannot help but say to myself, the opportunity is there to go and get Pochettino. Or have a deal in principle with Pochettino for the beginning of next season. Because if, for whatever reason, things don't go well with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then Pochettino goes to your Juventus, your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, or your Bayern Munich, then we're going to look like idiots again. And then we're just going to, you know, be stuck in this rut that we've been in for the last 6 years since Fergie left. So for me, I feel like it's an opportunity which we cannot overlook this time round. And the thing is, you know, you talk about players that understand the identity, the traditions of the club and things like that, but there's so many former players that have played for Manchester United. Players like your Henning Bergs, David Mays, Dwight Yorks, Teddy Sheringham, you know, Poborski. They all understand, you know, the traditions of the club. It doesn't mean that they're the right man for the club. You know, it doesn't mean they have the credentials and the CV to, you know, take us to new heights. And obviously with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, only time will tell. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, because, I mean, if Mourinho starts, you know, gets Spurs winning games and pushing them up into the top 4, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still stuttering, then the pressure is going to mount. And if Pochettino is still not in a job, I can assure you, you know, a lot of people associated with Manchester United are going to be putting pressure and calling for Manchester United to go and get Pochettino. At this moment in time, I think Pochettino would be the right man for the club, but, you know, others will see different. Now, going back to Pochettino's reign at Spurs, we've got this graphic here which shows, you know, before he came to Tottenham, they only managed 2 top 4 finishes before Pochettino. I think one was with Martin Yarn, the other was with Harry Redknapp, and after he came, they finished in the top 4 out of the 5 seasons that he was there. And the graphic below also shows that I think they came 4th for the most points in Mauricio's time at Tottenham in the Premier League, which is very impressive. In 202 games, they amassed 382 points, and that's a very good record, and that's a few more than Arsenal and Manchester United, which just goes to show how great of a good job he's done there, even without winning trophies. But, you know, it's interesting to see where his future lies now. Some people are saying he wants to go back to Barcelona. to go to his home there, take some time out, possibly go to Argentina for a little bit, where he's from, and just revamp himself, take some time out of the game, and then come back stronger next season. Because I don't think his reputation has been damaged at all. He's been on a shoestring budget at Spurs for quite some time. And he's been able to compete with the likes of your Man Cities, Manchester United, Arsenal's, Liverpool, Chelsea, who have bigger budgets. So I don't think his reputation would have been tarnished. Obviously, it would have been nice for him to win a trophy, but unfortunately, they weren't able to do so. And moving forward, with Mourinho at Spurs now, it's funny because obviously there's a few graphics here whereby it states that he would never ever manage Tottenham. I mean, this graphic here is funny because it's like it was a managerial go-round. It says Pochettino sacked, Solskjaer, Zidane are shitting themselves. Mourinho is frantically trying to contact Levy, and he successfully managed to do so. You got Eddie Howe, who switched his phone onto loud just in case, because there's always been talk about him managing one of the big six in the Premier League. And then you got good old Tim Sherwood waiting in his car by White Hart Lane, not realising they've moved. Well, they haven't really moved from White Hart Lane, so I don't see what that means there. And then you've got Guardiola blames Klopp for the whole thing, probably suggesting that, obviously because Klopp and Liverpool beat Spurs in the Champions League final, that kind of like cost Pochettino his job, because domestically their form was dwindling. But like I said, going back to some of these memes that we've got, you got Harry, who was on Sky Sports yesterday. He said that he gave Daniel Levy a text, and and Daniel Levy said, "Yeah, no, you're good, but you'll be a guest at my club." But this meme is quite funny here. Crouchy, it's Harry. Spread the news. Nico, Jermaine, the lot. We're getting the band back together. I mean, that's a funny meme, because Harry Redknapp's been out of the game for a while. I don't think he'll be coming back into management anytime soon, but it just seemed like Harry Redknapp would be the guy to kind of like galvanise the team at Spurs. I wouldn't say he's a Spurs man, but he obviously loves the club. But yeah, another funny meme here whereby Jose Mourinho said in 2015 that he loves Chelsea fans too much to manage Tottenham. In 2019, we sit here now talking about Mourinho as the new Spurs manager. So I wonder how Chelsea fans feel about that as well. Because obviously, I think they could have stomached him going to Manchester United, because Manchester United are up north. I mean, we're rivals in the sense that, we were at loggerheads for the title for, back in the late 2000s. But, we weren't really rivals. We didn't have the same rivalry as we do with Spurs. But Mourinho, he kept on calling out Spurs on a few occasions. I mean, he said Tottenham, in their history, had 2 titles. He's won 3 titles in England, and he doesn't need Tottenham. And again, we're sitting here talking about Mourinho being the Spurs manager. But I guess that only suggests, that over time things have changed. He said in a recent interview, he said those things before, but that was before Chelsea had sacked him. So, I guess that, he has no loyalty towards Chelsea anymore. And it'll be interesting to see how he reacts, or how the Chelsea fans react to him when they play in December as well. This one was funny because there's been a lot of talk about how Mourinho is going to play a defensive style of football at Spurs. And this meme says son when Jose Mourinho tells him to start playing left back, because we all know, Mourinho, he likes to play pragmatic football. Is he going to play that way with this Spurs team? Who knows? I mean, they may need to be a bit more pragmatic to get some trophies. Whether he's going to be upsetting certain players and putting them in certain positions, who knows? And Son, he could be sacrificed. I mean, I put up a tweet the other day. Son could be sacrificed to be a wing back now. You could put Sissoko at right back. Eric Dyer could be his talisman. You could have, Lo Celso, who they bought, going back on loan to Real Betis. Who knows? But, I know a lot of people have said that Mourinho is a defensive manager, but when he was at Real Madrid and he had the luxuries of your Ozils, your Kakas, Di Marias, and your Ronaldos and Benzema, I think Real Madrid, they scored the most goals, well, they had the record most goals in a La Liga season. So that does suggest, if he does have, the foundation of an attacking team, he will be able to utilise those players. But, obviously it didn't end well with Manchester United. Before that, it didn't end well with Chelsea. So, only time will tell to see whether it's going to end well with Spurs. There was a recent poll on Sky Sports whereby they asked if Mourinho was the right man for the job at Spurs, and I think it was around 60% of the poll said that no, he's not the right man for the job. But speaking to quite a few Spurs fans, my dad being one of them, they think Jose Mourinho is a good appointment and he can take them to the next level. I'm just interested to see how it's going to pan out for the rest of the season. Will he be able to keep the likes of your Ericssons, your Vertonghen's, your Alderweireld's, and get them playing to how they were playing, a few years ago, where they were on the front foot, defending well. It remains to be seen. He's got a good foundation there to work with, and it'll be interesting, man. I think this managerial merry-go-round is not over yet. It's not over yet. I still think, we could see a couple more sackings, and we could see Mauricio Pochettino in the Premier League. Who knows, this season. You never know. But all in all, I want Pochettino at Manchester United. I know that's going to upset a lot of Ollie stans, but that's just my preference. And it'll be interesting to see how Jose Mourinho uses these players at Tottenham Hotspurs this season, now that he's the new head coach at Tottenham Hotspurs. But yeah, it's been your boy Shingy. Okay, we had Bolaji on the phone today speaking or giving his opinion about the situation. Okay, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which is Shingy_LDN. Follow the channel itself as YKTS Football on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to the channel. I need the subscribers, so subscribe, like, share, comment. Okay, leave your comments below about what I've said and give me your opinions on the situation, and join the discussion. Follow the production team #HustleTime_ on Twitter and Instagram. And as I always say every week, if you want to be on the show, just get in touch with me, okay, and we'll have you here in the studio talking about your club or the latest news. Next week, I'll have my guy Roderick and Emmanuel Osari, who's a coach for Wycombe Wanderers. So that'll be interesting, and he's actually a Spurs fan, so it'll be interesting to get his take on the situation at hand. And obviously by then, I think Spurs would have played twice. They've got West Ham on the weekend. I'm going to try and get up to West Ham on the weekend to get live reaction from the Spurs fans about what they feel about the sacking of Mauricio Pochettino and the new appointment of Jose Mourinho. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they fare against West Ham, because it's a ground that they don't fare too well at. But yeah, like I said, if you know the score, make sure you follow and support the show, and we're out.